I just gave 100% of my time to my work. It's important to know yourself and to know what you really want to do. It's important to know that you have to work really, really hard. It's not an easy road. I had a show at MOMA called Ritual in 1986. And I just felt maybe I could give something back.
Hi there. There's a lot that can be learned from the life and work of Rosalind Fox Solomon. She only began taking photographs seriously at the age of 38, but carved out a unique vision, and her work was shown at the Whitney and in a solo show at MOMA. She had been stuck in a claustrophobic marriage for a number of decades, but eventually traveled the world and had 5 major monographs of her photographs produced. There's another important lesson to be learned. If John Szarkowsi gives you advice, then it's best to listen. Lisette Model had encouraged Fox Solomon to drop her portfolio off at MOMA. And when she arrived to pick it up, Szarkowski told her that he wanted to see everything that she had produced. He also advised her not to show her work too soon, as people would incorrectly compare her work to that of Diane Arbus. She didn't follow this advice. She allowed her pictures to be exhibited, and predictably she was described as an Arbus clone. For much of her career, she was unable to shake this label. From this point onwards in the video, I'm going to drop the Fox part of her surname, otherwise it's going to become really long-winded. Her connection with photographer and teacher Lisette Model had a profound impact on her work. On one occasion when she traveled to New York, she managed to set up a meeting with Model, who told her that next time she was in New York, she should bring everything. That meant all the photographs that she had ever made. When next in New York, Model came to her hotel room and she examined her pictures from 6 o'clock in the evening up until midnight. Finally, she was too tired to go on, but gave Solomon permission to study with her.
She had asked me to bring all of the work I had done. I packed 2 suitcases of prints. She was strong and convincing. I had never known a woman with so much confidence and conviction. I took her advice. Because I was 38 when I picked up a camera, it was helpful for me to learn about Auché, who began photographing at 40, and Julia Margaret Cameron, who began her work at 50.
From this point on, whenever Solomon's husband went to New York on business, she met with Model to discuss her latest work. Model would critique her prints and then look at her contact sheets to see what she had missed. Her advice was to always go for the extreme. By this, Solomon thought she meant be true to yourself as an artist, don't censor yourself, don't do your work to please others. One of the most important things that she learned from Model was to take risks. This was the opposite advice from what she had received from her mother. She said that her birth mother was overly concerned about convention and presenting oneself in the proper manner.
Mother and Daddy were 20 and 21 when they had me. They liked to party. I cramped their style. Mother dreamt of having a beautiful and popular daughter. She took me weekly to a manicurist to help me stop biting my nails, but that did not help. I bit them down to the quick. She wants a social butterfly. I'm a bookworm. I masked myself to try to be the daughter my mother wanted.
Her new mentor convinced her that the most important thing in her life was her work. Solomon did actually follow this advice closely, and her photographs, especially her portraits, are unflinching. Rather than trying to make people feel at ease, she found that a degree of tension between her and the person she was photographing often led to more complex results.
For me, photography was a way of expressing myself. It gave me the opportunity to say whatever I wanted to say without anybody telling me what I could do. It also gave me the possibility of taking pictures anywhere and the possibility of, if there's something that particularly interested me, to go to that place. I really care a lot about the nuances in a picture. Sadness, conflict, psychology. If I got somebody who was just smiling all the time, I just really couldn't do anything with that kind of person. My mother always wanted me to smile, and I would never smile. So I never wanted to encourage smiling pictures of people because I thought that I wouldn't get their real character.
The timing of her connection with Model was significant. Rather than being a malleable young student, Solomon had already gained a sense of independence, established a worldview, and also had a skepticism towards authority. Model didn't want to reshape her student because she recognized something that was already present. Solomon later spoke of Model as someone who validated her instincts rather than redirecting them. She reinforced her belief that photography did not need to justify itself. This gave Solomon the confidence to resist pressure to soften her work. She was able to look without apology and create disquieting images without attempting to beautify. Sometimes photographers, and any artist for that matter, just need to be given permission to explore the potential that already exists. Model was a great teacher and inspiration. She told Solomon that she was an artist and had a gift which needed to be fulfilled. Most people receive so little affirmation in their lives, and for Solomon, this was the spark she needed to launch her own photographic journey.
My mother wanted me to be beautiful and popular. Pretense. That's what I grew up with. I just realized that what I was doing was coming from my gut and that I was interested in expressing myself. So that seemed to be what artists do.
Her photographs don't shout, seduce, or explain themselves. They quietly stare back at us in an unsentimental but deeply human manner. She once said that she didn't photograph people because she liked them, but because she was curious about them. She was deeply interested in systems of belief and power, but rather than trying to illustrate these ideas, she focused on individuals living within these systems. So when she photographed a nun or a beauty queen or a soldier, she didn't view them as symbols, but as human beings existing under the weight of their particular circumstances. She traveled widely and was drawn to places where political and social tensions shaped everyday life. These environments allowed her to explore what most deeply concerned her: the emotional and psychological states of individuals living under pressure. Some of the trouble spots she went to included Northern Ireland, South Africa, Yugoslavia, Cambodia, and the West Bank. Her approach wasn't that of a photojournalist. Instead, she focused on ordinary individuals whose expressions subtly reflected the instability that surrounded them. She would resist the idea of the exotic other and avoided romanticizing suffering. So her images are often unresolved and unsettling. She believed photography should provoke reflection rather than offer reassurance. Being compared to Diane Arbus was both a gift and a burden for Solomon. The comparison is understandable but superficial. Both often photographed people who were outsiders, they mostly used square format, and they sometimes used flash. Their shared mentor, Lisette Model, didn't make them into facsimiles. Rather, she nurtured their individuality. Their joint inheritance from her was that they sought out psychological interrogations and developed a gaze that was uncompromising.
I was always interested in human psychology, what was going on inside people. I mean, it was just intuitive. I think I just have perceptions about people. I don't know where that comes from, but I do. That's what goes into my work.
Sometimes it was beneficial to have a work compared favorably with Arbus's. But because Arbus's presence within photographic history was so dominant, these comparisons often reduced Solomon to a secondary figure, one in which he was seen as a variation rather than an originator. This comparison was unfortunate because Solomon's approach was substantially different. Arbus's photographs were more intimate and often more psychologically and emotionally charged, while Solomon's work was more restrained, observational, and emotionally withheld. She should really have listened to John Szarkowski's advice and held off showing her work too soon, because for many years this comparison to Arbus prevented her from being fully understood. She passed away last year at the age of 95, but her work remains with us, and I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I photographed in war-torn countries and in countries with racial and religious injustice. This place was a commissioned project for work in Israel. The project included 12 internationally known photographers. I photographed Israelis, Palestinians, Africans, and Christian pilgrims. Them is a book of my pictures and text. It was random, going to this place or that. One person led to another. I tried to reach their souls through mine. Hurts and wounds, confrontation and welcome.